The year 2021 is one that saw Parliament reconvene twice from the annual long recess for 2 special sittings to discuss and conclude on matters of national concern, from bills to motions, petitions and reports among other businesses that were still pending by the end of the 5th session.
Let's pray.
The Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021, which seeks to amend the Political Parties Act 2011, was read for the first time before the floor of the National Assembly on the 2nd of December. Even though it came at the tail end of the legislative calendar, the essence of Political Parties Amendment Bill was not only of great interest, but also prompted the House to reconvene for special sittings on the 21st, 22nd and 29th December. It ought to be concluded within 6 months to the August elections.
Honorable Chair, I stand to oppose this amendment by the Honorable Alice Wahome.
Among its proposals are that a coalition political party must be registered by the registrar as a political party and submit its political agreement at least 6 months before a general election. The bill also addresses rebellion in parties by proposing tough sanctions against members who promote the ideologies of another political party. It also focuses on the controversy surrounding political party funds by proposing a formula of 70% to political parties, 15% to special interest groups, and 10% to representatives. But the changes proposed and the timing of the bill elicited varied reactions, with aspersions cast on its objective.
Honorable Speaker, my main issue is that this bill has hurriedly been brought and even members being called away from their vacation to come and contribute. To me, I think the issue of having free and fair elections, if this House is not careful, will be a mirage.
This bill is completely untimely, and it is intended to disrupt smooth nominations, particularly in some of the proposals that it is coming up with. The speed, Mr. Speaker, the speed in which, even from the Speaker's seat, that this bill is being processed, Mr. Speaker, completely ignoring procedural issues.
Honorable members, I wish to ask that you look at this bill and look at it from a positive perspective in terms of how it enriches democracy. And if you find that there are some areas that require amendments, let us reason together.
And when members began ventilating on it, their political inclinations split the House right in the middle, derailing the process.
I think we are joining for about 15 minutes.
The negative part of this bill, which you are proposing amendments, Mr. Speaker, in the committee of the whole House, is to force political parties that the coalition must be done at least 6 months to general election. That we want to amend, Mr. Speaker, so that you can allow coalitions as late as possible in line with the elections calendar, Mr. Speaker.
The Committee of the Whole House stage on the bill is automatically deferred to allow harmonization of the multiple amendments proposed to the bill. Subsequently, today's afternoon sitting shall be suspended and shall therefore not take place. Order, honorable members, order.
We have a properly constituted special sitting this afternoon, the 22nd of December 2021. It is only by leave of this House that a special sitting can be called off, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, therefore I'm asking you to reconsider your ruling.
And Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, you can rise, you can shout.
Order, members, order.
And members,
Order, members.
I've done it before.
Order. Honorable members, just hold. Everybody go back. The member for Alda, you are out of order. Go back to your...
And we cannot vote when we don't have a voting register. We have to know how many of us are here so that we know who have voted, because Honorable Speaker, we cannot have 286 members inside these chambers, Honorable Speaker. It is not even enough for all of us, Honorable Speaker. I'm saying the voting register must be availed before any further voting.
I agree that all of us require very transparent voting process. But here you do notice that the first time that the Duale side voted and they lost, they won, they didn't raise this issue. They are now raising the issue because they have lost.
The bill is expected to be passed before February 2022. The Division of Revenue Bill 2021, signed into law in April 2021, saw Parliament remove grants from the bill, thereby reducing the revenue share for the devolved units to 370 billion shillings. The two houses concurred that the grants cannot be included in the bill, setting revenue share between the two levels of government.
The amounts that now will be included is the national shareable revenue at the national level, which is 1.3 trillion. And then, of course, we'll have the equalization fund of 6.8 billion, and also the county equitable share of 370 billion.
The signing into law of the bill also paved way for an increment of at least 50 billion shillings to county governments in improved shareable allocation. The controversial third basis county sharing formula was finally adopted after 10 sittings.
The draft election campaign financing regulations submitted to the National Assembly by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission on 5th of August 2021.
The election campaign financing regulation saw parliamentarians reject a move by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to impose spending caps on campaigns for various elective seats.
I am obliged that I support the report of the committee to annul in its entirety the contribution, the spending limits for political parties and candidates for the purpose of the 2022 general election, and reject the draft election campaign financing regulations.
Before tabling the regulations in the House as required so that they can be passed, Mr. Speaker, IEBC published those amounts, those figures in the Kenya Gazette, Mr. Speaker. They publicized. What they are trying to do is, to, the way Honorable Duale has said, to put the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse, Mr. Speaker. And they were doing that deliberately to incite Kenyans that we have already given the ceilings. What ceilings? They are giving a presidential candidate to spend 4 billion. Where are we going to, where is the president going to get 4 billion, Mr. Speaker?
Normally, if regulations are passed at the committee level, we do not bring them to the House. In fact, you do not even need to bring them to the House before publishing. But these ones, Mr. Speaker, by their very unique nature, they have to be brought to the House before publishing. So, Mr. Speaker, even if we tried to really remedy these regulations, they were faulty ab initio, there was no way we could have been able to revive them.
The year 2021 also saw Parliament host Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan in a joint sitting during her maiden visit to the country.
Busara inaelekeza kuwa ukiwa mpangaji mpya kwenye eneo lazima ujitambulishe kwa majirani. Nami kwa sababu ni mpangaji mpya kwenye hizo nafasi, nimeonelea nije kwa majirani kujitambulisha, na nimeanza na jirani wa Kenya ambaye ni jirani ndugu.
She became the second president to address the Kenyan parliament after retired President Jakaya Kikwete's address to the 11th parliament in 2015. On 30th November 2021, during his State of the Nation address in Parliament, President Uhuru Kenyatta directed Parliament to adjust its calendar to conclude critical legislative proposals emanating from the executive, which are still pending in Parliament, such as the Huduma Bill, which has only gone through first reading at the National Assembly. Kamchemenza for the NDR Review.